Hey guys, it's Coach Amanda. Here's some footwork to do while you're stuck at home.
So the first thing she's going to do is right, left, up and back. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And when you can get the hang of it, you start going faster and faster and faster and faster. Now, same thing, only left foot first. This will be harder for all you right-handers. Be easy for the lefties. That's it. Excellent. Okay, so if you can see here, we've used some sidewalk chalk to set up what looks like a 5 on a dice, a square with a dot in the middle. A little more than shoulder width apart of your feet is the appropriate distance. And we're going to cycle through a couple footwork things here. First, we're going to start with 2 feet on the bottom 2, and we're going to go hop in together and back out. Go all the way to the top, Penny. And then back. Good. Okay, now put your feet together, doesn't matter which side, because you're going to do both. In, up top, across. There you go. And then back through that same thing. In, up top, across, back in, down. And last but not least, put your feet back at the original. You're going to do exactly like we did at the beginning. In together, out apart, whoops, 180, and back. And again, that's something that as you get more familiar with the pattern, you can try to do faster and faster and faster and faster. Okay, that's great.
Coach Amy, I'm just going to walk you guys quickly through our normal dynamic warm-up. We're going to start with some high knees.
Nice.
Butt kickers back.
Remember, we're going for reps here, not quickness. Stretch out those quads.
Frankensteins.
Couple ways to do this. You can go straight in front or a little bit on a diagonal and touch that opposite hand. Either way is fine. Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay, and then we're going to do scoops back.
Hamstrings. Very important, and lower back. That's it, guys.
Okay, and then we're going to do a golf ball pickup.
Good balance. Excellent. Sometimes it helps if you pick a spot on the ground to focus on so that you don't fall over like I sometimes do when I'm doing these.
Okay, and then we're going to do a side shuffle there and back.
So pick a side to face. Yep. And stay facing that way for both reps. Great.
Okay, and then we're going to do a karaoke there and back.
Excellent. Way to go. Another really good thing you can do at home is just play around with that stick, get comfortable, practice some of your stick tricks. So a good one to warm up with is to just pop it up like a little flip pass, flip that stick over and catch it in the back side of your stick. This is good for practicing really soft hands. If you want to get really crazy, you can toss it up and try to twirl your stick around the ball. Nice. Do that a couple times. There's all sorts of other stick tricks you guys can do, I'm sure. Nice. Little, yeah, anything that's popping it up that's helping you practice that hand-eye coordination and getting the feeling of the stick and the weight of the ball in there gets you even more proficient at things like cradling and catching and everything we need to do to be great at lacrosse. Guys, Coach Marissa here. Trying to bring you as many at-home lacrosse workouts as we can. One really good one to start with, one that you can really never do enough of, is just practicing your throwing and catching mechanics with no ball. So you can do this in your living room. You don't even need to go outside. You can do this in your bedroom. No one's going to get hurt. You just pick up your stick, put it in your dominant hand. Hopefully you're that top hand. Remember, we don't want it way up here. We want it to be slightly down here. I like to think of it as like comfortable shoulder width apart if you're holding your stick down here. And we're going to step with our opposite foot. And so I'm right-handed, so I'm going to show it righty, and then we'll do a lefty demo. So the first thing we do is we're going to bring that stick up here to our shoulder, We're gonna lift our front elbow and lift our back elbows. Some, like we're a chicken or a bird about to take off. Some people like to say, let your armpits breathe. So, whichever analogy works for you, your stick should be almost parallel to the ground. It should be almost horizontal, okay? So from here, we're gonna step with that opposite foot. So I'm righty, so I'm stepping with my left foot. We're gonna step. We're gonna lead with our elbow, okay? Lead with the butt of our stick. And after this, we're gonna push with our top hand while we're pulling with our bottom hand. So step, elbow, push and pull, and follow through, okay? And this is something that's really good to watch yourself do, like in the mirror even. And if you have space, and make sure that there's no family members or objects around you, you can start picking up some strength there, and the objective is to hear as much whoosh as possible. So here I am, my stick's up here, it's horizontal, I've got both elbows up, I'm gonna step, I'm gonna lead with this elbow, and follow through and hear the whoosh, okay? Almost like you're gonna fall over after you do that. And then again, lefty, so now I've got my left hand up, it's the same thing. Start here, put my stick on my shoulder, front elbow up, back elbow up, stick is basically horizontal. This time I'm gonna step with my right foot because it's opposite foot. Step, lead with that elbow, push with my top hand, pull with my bottom hand, and follow through. So it's 1, 2, 3, follow through. Okay, and same thing, the objective here is to hear as much whoosh as possible. So that's a really good thing you can practice even if you don't have a ball or you're trying to be safe and practice some stick skills inside the comfort of your own home. Completely underrated but incredibly effective way that you can keep your stick skills sharp is through wall ball. If you don't have a wall, I'm lucky, I've got this amazing wall here. If you don't have a wall, maybe you could go to an elementary school that is open, and if that's not available, that's okay too. You can do tons of reps with just somebody at home, or even just by flip passing to yourself, which we'll talk about in a minute. So here you see Coach Peggy is gonna get 1,000,000 reps by just, she's really aiming for that B and the H. So it's nice if you can to give yourself a target. One thing we used to do all the time with the high school kids was we'd tape a plastic bag to the wall so that you could really hear it, or a piece of tin foil. So if you like that audio reinforcement that you are hitting your target, that's great. So right now Peggy's just going righty, and notice she's got really soft hands, just like throwing and catching is one smooth, fluid movement. And notice also that her knees are bent, and she is moving both her stick angle and her feet in order to make really good catches. So this is awesome for hand-eye coordination. It's awesome for just getting 1,000,000 reps to practice proper stick positioning up into your shoulder. You can of course go lefty with that. You can throw the ball righty and catch it on your weak side. Do you mind doing a weak side real quick, Peg?
Oh, yeah.
If you can, I know you're super close. There you go. So weak side is when you're still holding it right-handed, but you rip it over to your opposite shoulder and you can throw and catch from there. So that's a good thing to practice. That's probably something that you guys haven't done a ton of practice on. That would be a really good goal for you to get proficient at that. And then one more thing, if I can, I'm going to jump in.
Yep.
To do is try to bounce it right before the wall. And what it's going to do is it's going to hit the wall and kind of come up high. It's a great way to practice people who play on the draw, or who want to practice their hand-eye coordination when you're up in the air. So this is about like extending your stick or even jumping, and being able to extend our hand-eye coordination an extra 6 feet, perfect social distance amount. So we're gonna be really well trained on what that looks like over these next couple weeks. So this is what that looks like. You throw it a little bit before the wall and you get like an unpredictable bounce. That one was nice and high. Same with that. Okay, and you can start practicing running in and trying to grab it. That's awesome for both the unpredictability of the bounce and for getting some loft on it for those of you who play midfield or even defense who want to practice grabbing that ball off the draw or interceptions. But again, just the classic wall ball. Nothing is better. Even in college, that was something that we were required to do every single day before practice. So even at the highest levels, that's one of those drills where you can never get enough. And we'll show you a variation if you don't have access to a wall. Tons of ways you can get a million reps on your own. So have at it, girls. Here we go. We're going to be all stick skill pros by the end of this. I think a really good silver lining about being homebound during this whole coronavirus thing is that we can take some time to do some of the things we always said we were going to do, like really zoning in on our stick work and our cradling. So this is a nice little progression that I think is fun, and it's just challenging enough where it's going to really help you evolve your own cradle and your own comfort handling the stick, which will make you more proficient at cradling and throwing and catching and shooting and everything else that makes us good at lacrosse. So the first thing is, now I do have a ball, okay? So again, take proper ball safety precautions. Maybe go into your yard if you can, or in the street like we are. And the first couple things I like to do is just get used to spinning your stick with the ball in it without it falling out. Now the ball's probably gonna fall out a lot during these. It's probably gonna fall out some of the times when I'm doing this. That's okay. That's why we're here practicing. We're grateful for the extra time. So do that. The natural way for me is to push my stick away. Okay, so for some of you, you might be coming towards you. That's cool too. Let's do it both ways. Make sure you're challenging yourself to do both ways, okay? And start off small. That's the easiest way to keep the ball in there. And then to add degree of difficulty, make that circle bigger and bigger and bigger. The bigger the circle, the harder it is to keep that ball in there, okay? Same thing when you're going the other direction, okay? So now let's bring our sticks up, do a couple of cradling things. So first and foremost, we always talk about our stick being in that triple threat position. So just like we were talking about with our throwing mechanics, our stick should be almost horizontal, maybe not all the way, and our elbows are up. That's kind of the key piece here. Because from this position, I can throw, I can shoot, I can cradle, whatever I need to do. That's why it's the triple threat. So from here, we're just gonna cradle all the way, exaggerated, all the way over to our other shoulder. Notice my stick head is facing out, so it was one complete turn. So you have to let the stick move in those fingertips. From here to here. Do that a couple times. Okay, for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, what I like to practice here is ripping it over to the side and then ripping it back like I'm about to shoot. So really getting that motion, practicing with some speed. So we're just getting warmed up here. Full turn here, okay? Then what we do is we're gonna add a little spin move as we go across, okay? So I'm twisting the stick all the way around in a 360 as I'm going up, okay? And then after that, we're gonna add just a simple stick fake. So in slow motion, the stick fake looks like we're gonna throw and then we do a half, oops. It's kind of hard to do in slow motion. We do a half turn to catch the ball here so the ball never leaves our stick. And then we twist it back into our throwing position, triple threat. So here we go. Half turn out, half turn back in, half turn out, half turn back in. So from the top, we're gonna just do a couple of these. Bring it back up here. Cradle shoulder to shoulder, which is very exaggerated. We obviously would not necessarily be able to do this while also running quickly. Then we're gonna do the turn. And then we're gonna do a couple stick fakes. And again, as you feel more and more comfortable, you can start adding head fakes in with your stick fake. You can make this a shorter motion. You can make it a more exaggerated motion. I even like to practice twisting it out the other way. So if my normal stick fake is just here, boom, and then I also have one where I'm twisting it out away from me. So all those little things are just ways you're getting a little bit more comfortable. Again, are you going to be twiddling your stick over your head in the middle of a game? No. But what this is doing is building up some hand-eye coordination, allowing you to feel comfortable when the ball's in your stick. What does that feel like? And what do you know you can do in some of these other positions, more exaggerated positions, like when you're going around a defender, to keep the ball in the stick, which is the whole point of cradling in the first place. So have fun with that, create your own variations, send them to us, let us know. I am excited to see what you guys come up with for your own little routine to keep those stick skills as sharp as possible. Thanks, guys. Lots of other options. So again, a nice little warm-up is we just start with our stick in our kind of like casual position here, and we just start with some flip passes, okay? And then if the way that you add degree of difficulty is you pop it up to yourself and you catch it up here vertical, okay? If you can, right into a cradle. You can also kind of pass it to yourself here, where you're gonna catch it more on your shoulder. And same thing, you can toss it up to yourself and practice that weak side catch. Okay, and same thing, you can give yourself some high tosses to practice those midi unpredictability bounces, or one of my favorites, slam it down and run after it and catch. Don't need a partner for that, don't need a wall, just need a street and some space, obviously. So, and again, you add degree of difficulty by slamming it harder and harder and then trying to chase it and catch it. Hopefully you're coming out and meeting the ball and not waiting for it to come to you. The way I used to like to challenge even my high school players who were pretty advanced with their stick work was to just go the whole day carrying their lacrosse stick or anything else that they had to carry in their non-dominant hand. So I'm righty, so my non-dominant is my left hand. So whether I was trying to pick up my backpack or eat with a fork or brush my teeth, the challenge for that day was to try to do every single thing with my non-dominant hand, just getting more and more comfortable using it. So even though you're like, well, what is brushing my teeth with my left hand gonna do for my lacrosse game? The point is, anytime you're adding comfort with that non-dominant side and you're creating architecture between your brain and your left hand, it's gonna translate into more comfort when you're trying to cradle or throw or catch or shoot left-handed. And just like in soccer and in basketball and in almost every sport, in lacrosse, we have to be able to throw and catch. We have to be able to cradle, we have to be able to shoot from both sides to be a complete player. And this is the perfect time to spend a lot of time on that non-dominant side. So to start, again, you just get a nice little cradle going, and this is something you can do with or without a ball. I'm doing it with a ball right now, but ball is not necessary. You could also come up with creative non-lacrosse ball, safe for indoor use, alternative objects. So from here, when we're switching hands, sometimes we just switch to like we're gonna protect. So we just pull it over to our other side, and then you just grab with that left hand, and now I'm lefty. Okay, and here's my cradle, 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 cradle. I'm looking, and I bring it all the way across in slow motion. Grab with the top hand and then just slide that other hand down, okay? If we're doing more of a dodge, okay, then a better way of doing that when we don't just have space, where we can do a full cradle change, okay, that's the first example. Example 2 is more of a dodge. So we're coming at a defender, for example. You want to bring your stick down, protect with your shoulder, but the motion is the same when you switch your hands. Okay, so you're here, you're here, you're here. Bring it down, protect, and up. How do we actions as you do that? Okay? We can even add degree of difficulty. You could add some footwork, like a ladder drill, or like some of those footwork drills we showed you earlier. You could draw a line, create your own defenders, have a sibling come out, cradle around the couch. Lots of good ideas for how you can practice that. But again, it's here. Bring it across, protect, grab above, and then you're here and you're in your other hand, you're in your triple threat on the other side. Or as more of a dodge, you're bringing it down, across, and exploding out of it. Okay, so of course, if you're at home and you have a sibling or a parent who could partner pass with you, that's just as good as getting reps on the wall. So I encourage you, it's a great way to get outside and to get some fresh air and to get your lacrosse reps in. So we're out here today just passing in the street and getting our reps in here. And some of you have siblings and parents at home who can play with you, others may not, but guess what? You don't have to be a lacrosse player to throw and catch.
You can be a washed-up professional baseball player.
Many of you have a parent who has a baseball mitt, or I even heard some people are playing with their moms with a tennis ball and a tennis racket. These are all great ideas. We're gonna have to get creative and innovate here